Veterans, individuals who have served in the armed forces. These men and women have made tremendous sacrifices to protect their countries and uphold the values they hold dear. They bring a unique set of experiences, skills, and perspectives shaped by their military service. However, they face their own set of challenges upon transitioning to civilian life. Often, visitors' conversations start with, I have a question, or more often, I have a problem. Hi, I'm Tej, host at Chizuba Talks. My conversations with nonprofits bring you their stories, challenges, and victories in the hope that these amazing organizations and their leaders get their due recognition for the thoughtful actions they take. You never know. Someone out there will take inspiration and bring about positive change. Today I have I have Scott Dulebohn, the Executive Director of Veterans Welcome Home and Resource Center. It's a 501c3 nonprofit located in South Carolina. Welcome to the podcast, Scott.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I was speaking to Scott a little bit before the recording, and I got to know that Scott was on Air Force One and he was a firefighter. How cool is that?
It's pretty neat. I had a good time.
So, Scott, tell me what motivated you to start this organization and why homelessness particularly?
It was all God from getting hurt a couple times. Ended up back down here in Little River. Actually left for the Air Force from Little River from Ohio. Um, and it just full circle around after getting hurt a couple times and hurting my back, and came down here to Myrtle Beach and went and visited the VA to try and get a new job after my back surgery. And the gentleman there said, "Go volunteer over at this homeless shelter and get your feet wet for a little bit, and then we'll get you back into something." And I was like, "There's no homeless shelter in Little River for veterans. I've never even seen this thing." And sure enough, it was right down the street from my house, maybe 5 minutes from my house. So they've been in existence since 2009. They've had started actually, they passed a hat around at a bar here in Little River and got enough money for first month's rent for a hotel. And that started with one veteran per month that they would bring in and kind of get them back on their feet and back into society. In 2014, they'd done enough to raise some money to purchase a home. So the Hutton House, where we're at now, is a 4 bedroom, 3 bath home. And we're always full with veterans. Right now, we actually have 13 veterans living with us on that property. We have 4 tiny homes out back, the house, and then we're building 25 tiny houses down in Myrtle Beach. But I came in, it was right at the beginning of COVID. Everything was kind of shutting down, and I said, let's continue to go. These people are beaten and broken and in the most need of anybody right now. We're all safe in our houses and we can quarantine there. There's nowhere for these people to go. And I said, let's do it. Let's make it happen. And in 6 days, I had 8 people living in the house. Ready to rock and roll. I still have 2 of them that are with me today. 2 of the original folks from when I took over in 2021. And they're just absolutely in love with the people and the process that we've kind of put in place. We changed it from check this box, check that box. If you don't check this one, you don't get any assistance. And I said, the heck with that. Let's get rid of all of it and make it a family atmosphere of we're going to care about people. Back to the basics. And you just see them flourish. It takes a couple weeks. That's my standing joke is I actually get to meet the veteran about 2 to 3 weeks after they've been in our house and program, because when they walk through that door, they're not themselves. They're beaten, they're broken. They've been living in a car in the woods. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. They don't know if they're going to have new shoes to put on. In about 2 to 3 weeks, we're able to get them new shoes and new clothes and food and the same pillow over and over again, the same room. And they come in and they start cracking jokes like they were back in the military 15, 20 years ago. And you go, "Hey, Joe, it's very nice to meet you." And they're like, "What are you talking about? I already met you." And you're like, "No, now you're alive again. You got purpose. You're enjoying it." And that's the whole program. As soon as they come in, we start with mental health and trying to get that aspect right. It does not matter what we throw at it. If you are not in a state of wanting help, or to change, it's not going to stick. It's not going to stay. And they've ended up back at the door about 5, 6 months later, for additional assistance. But if you can get them on that path of their own mental state and being happy and knowing that something was wrong and they needed change, it sticks and it lasts for the rest of their life. So far, we've had a lot of success with it. And the folks are happy, so they continue showing up in droves. We're completely full. It stays full. Right now, I have 2 veterans sleeping on air mattresses in my office over at the Hutton House. I have one gentleman who prefers just to sleep in the back of his car on the property, and I've got no problem with it as long as that's happy and keeping them moving and following this. We only have a couple rules. Just be a family member, and then take care of the people that are in the house. Clean up after yourself. No drugs and alcohols on the property. Not allowed to do any of that stuff while you're there. And they've really seemed to grab on, and it's catching on. They really enjoy changing their lives, so it's great.
That is wonderful to know. Help me understand this here. Why do we have so many veterans who are homeless?
Um, so just from my short stint here, 2 years, it's there's typically a catastrophic event that happens. And when I say catastrophic, I mean a divorce, a death, a serious bad decision. It takes that one event, and then it seems like from there it kind of numbs them and makes it okay to continue making another bad decision. And now you're jaded in another bad decision, and now you're 3, 4 bad decisions in. Um, and it's typically it could happen to any one of us with just those bad decisions. And now you're broke, or you're dependent on a payday loan at 200% interest that you're never going to get out of, that a lot of these guys and gals come through the door with, or running up credit cards, and now you're in all this debt and you didn't have much money to begin with, but these credit card companies have given you $10,000 in debt that you couldn't afford to begin with when you applied. And now they're all maxed out, and you're transferring them one from one to another. And by the time you get here, you're kind of mad at the system, mad at the people. A lot of the groups aren't going to be able to help because you're not checking all of the appropriate boxes for them. And it really goes back to that first decision, and that's what we try to get to with the mental health aspect. Everybody that comes through the door meets with me. It's about an hour or two long interview just to find out who they are, where they're at, and what's happening in life, where you want to go, where you want to be, and if you want that help and that change. But just from what I've seen is that one decision that can really happen to every single one of us, where you make it the bad choice, and now you're down this rabbit hole. And if you don't have a secure group of people or establishment around you, those bad decisions just continue to happen. So we continue to stay with our veterans. We follow up. We have a 3 and 6 and 12 month follow up policy. We want to make sure that they're staying on track. Not to give them more stuff, but we want to make sure that all the excuses are taken away. And if they do need a little something to keep them going, it's always nice to hear from a family member of, "Hey, if you need something, we are right here. You can call. I don't want you to feel like you can't call us," and continue to have help and success. So it always helps to have people around that are prosperous and want you to succeed.
True. Now, veterans come with a set of skills that they have learned over the years and they have perfected. Uh, these skills are useful, obviously, in some area of life. I mean, they may be broke, they may be homeless, but Can these skills be put to use somewhere? Do you make sure that they are utilized?
Absolutely. So when we first took over, we immediately created more of a job training program to get the veterans back to work. And then just from our stats, we saw over 1,700 veterans last year, and almost 90% were over 65, which that blew me away. The majority of our folks are Vietnam veterans, and we're not job training them. They've done their jobs; they're good with that. So we quickly adopted more of a home skill set where the veterans know how to do the laundry and clean the house and do the landscaping, answer the phones at the resource center, come over to our thrift shop, and they help pick up furniture. So it's more of volunteering things and giving that veteran a purpose again. That's our word we use, is that purpose. Our veterans were just sleeping in a car in the woods, and they had zero purpose. They woke up with nothing to do today. And that was that structure in the military of, you knew exactly what time you were going to the restroom, what time you were getting ready to eat lunch. Everything was mapped out and planned out for you. And now you're out and none of that happens. So we've kind of brought a little bit of that back, where they have a schedule, they have a purpose. They know Tuesday when they wake up, they need to be over at the thrift shop for a couple hours to help out with stuff. And it is incredible what it does to their morale.
Let's take a break to understand what Chizuba is. Everyone at some point ponders on how this beautiful life can be made more meaningful. Maybe you're a leader trying to enhance your employees' experience at your organization. Or you already work for the community and seek volunteers with state of the art skills to strengthen your nonprofit. Whatever your situation, know that you can make a difference. Chizuba began with this very vision, a vision to facilitate every skill and every passion in the world in meeting a social need. Corporate volunteering has several benefits for both businesses and organizations. In parallel, experienced and enthusiastic volunteers join NGO workers, enabling them to serve the community more effectively. Chizuba offers everyone looking to add purpose and meaning to their lives a chance to connect or volunteer virtually with nonprofit organizations from over 100 countries around the world. Visit www.chizuba.net and explore opportunities to find meaning. Chizuba, your platform to do good. And now, back with our guest. So, Scott, do you think there needs to be some kind of policy changes or improvements at the state or the national level to address veteran homelessness?
Absolutely. I believe we've gotten too far into the box checking um, and just trying to put people in these different groups and categories. And they're people, and they need help, and that's period. We have so much money everywhere. The VA has money. Our government has money. We could end these things. I feel like just from being here this short amount of time, I feel like we're hanging on to some of it to keep job security for some of these folks, um, instead of ending the actual program. Because you hear it all the time from them of, oh, you're never going to end the homelessness. It's always going to be a thing. But if you go into it with a mentality like that, of course you're always going to have it. That's why we're on a mission to end veteran homelessness, because we've had enough of it. You can end stuff, period. I mean, we eradicate polio and other things going on in the world, and you're telling me we can't get enough people together to end homelessness and build some villages and communities to stop this thing. I mean, we build high rises and mansions all over the place. We can definitely put some housing into effect. And look, they're all not going to make it. We know that we're human. People fail. But we can definitely do a heck of a lot better than what we're doing right now. With misusing funds and hiring 8,000 people to try and fix homelessness, when you could hire a few and build some homes for them. Because a lot of these folks are really humble and they don't ask for a lot. We do these stand downs every other month where we go to homeless hotspots and we give them a meal and clothes and food. and 98% of them won't take a penny more than they actually need. It's so humbling while you're there. You have all these
Yeah,
shoes and clothes and food, and they'll come up and grab one can and one pair of shoes, a bar of soap and a toothbrush. And you're like, you need any more of it? And they're like, no, 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 I don't want to take any more than needs to be. And you're like, that would be
just amazing.
incredible right now in the world if there was a whole bunch of that. Where we get
Yes,
so greedy and just all the stuff we have at our arsenal these days with the internet. And I mean, you can know anything in about 5 seconds now, where you used to have to go and look it up. But these
true.
people are so humble, and it they would not need a whole lot. We could put it all together, and it would be very nice, and we could end it. I absolutely believe we could.
Mhm. True. I read this about the container house that you have. It's the newest addition to your homes, is it?
Yes, ma'am. So we have a 8x40 shipping container, fully transformed. We have a family living in it right now, a husband and wife. Another Vietnam, he's a Marine. But together, their income is 850 a month. I don't know where you go to live with $850 a month, but it doesn't happen. So we've put that in place. We've got them set up with the VA with HUD-VASH, so they help assist with part of their rent. We charge them $200 a month, and then the VA pays the other half. So that way they can live and be able to go out to eat once a week or go over and get a cheeseburger from somewhere. That's stuff that a lot of these people don't get to do because they don't have funds for that. Where we'll just grab our stuff and go out and take the family and get a dinner. It's not possible to them. But this type of facility and program allows them to at least experience somewhat of that. So they feel like a normal human being. That's really all we want to do is make them feel like family. But the shipping
You are
containers,
doing a wonderful.
um,
Yeah.
it's neat. They got a laundry room, full kitchen. The bathroom is huge. They got a nice big bedroom with a queen size bed, full closet, slide out door on one end with a little patio so they can go out there and hang out during the day. They're wonderful, and they are much cheaper than building houses. But the county and cities do not like how they look, so it is difficult getting them approved. They
Mm-hmm.
like the look of the house itself over the shipping container. So, but
Okay.
those are half the price of what building a home would be.
Yes, it is. It is. So that brings me to the next question, Scott. How can anybody who's wanting to help you, other than donating money? But is there any other way that people can help you virtually, perhaps physically? Of course, maybe something would be there, but how can anybody help?
Absolutely. So you can give our office a call, 843-427-4568, or jump on our website at bwhrc.org. And you can check us out. There's a volunteer sheet on there that you can actually fill out and the contact us, and somebody will get back with you. We have folks over here at our thrift shop that help sort clothes, price items, just meet with customers and talk. We've got folks that pick up furniture and deliver it to places for our thrift shop, also to veterans. Last year, we served over 50 veterans completely free from the thrift shop, and that's its main purpose is to get those items for free to those people. Or we also have answering phones and collecting data over at our Hutton House, where we see the majority of our veterans come through the door. So we're collecting all that data, learning the ins and outs of what we can do and what needs to be done. And then we've got a group of guys and gals that show up, and they'll bring a meal and a pot of coffee once a week for 30 minutes, and they just come and hang out. And that was one of the main things I wanted was it is a family up there. So if people just show up out of the blue, and there could be 6 veterans over there, and they'll bring coffee and some food and donuts, and they'll hang out for a little bit and just ask them how their day's going, and that changes
So
people's
important.
lives. That really changes
Absolutely.
people's lives, and it's incredible.
Right. Just wanting somebody to talk to and share stories. That's so important.
Yep, somebody cares about you, and especially some of these. Most of them are Vietnam guys, so they have some incredible stories and jokes. So it's always
I,
entertaining at the house. Yeah,
yes, absolutely. So, just another question here where, can these veterans share their stories or their experiences with maybe high school children or maybe primary school children or basically the young people who deserve to know what they have been through?
absolutely. So we partner with the schools here as well. So we'll go over just this last Memorial Day or Veterans Day. Last Veterans Day was awesome. They went over to the elementary school. We had a couple veterans from the house, and all the kids did the Pledge of Allegiance and national anthem with a couple of our Vietnam veterans. And then they all made cards for all the veterans at the house, which there wasn't a dry eye in the house. They were all
Right.
crying. It was pretty cool that the kids could do that to the adults there, but they did it, and that was really cool. So we got to take them over, and this area is absolutely amazing. It is so patriotic. We have over 30,000 veterans in Horry County, so it's 1 in 10 here in our county that's a veteran, and that's huge. That's almost double everywhere else, and the parents are doing a great job. Most of the kids got it. I think the coolest one was a kid drew like an eagle flying down and picking up an American flag on this card. Like you don't see that. So it's
Awesome.
incredible. Little 8-year-old kids drawing an eagle, swooping down and picking up an American flag. Like, it was neat.
Wow.
So we packaged all those up and we put most of them in a couple picture frames, and we've got them hanging out up throughout the office in different locations just so people can come in and see what those kids were up to. It was awesome.
Very nice. Lovely, lovely. Wonderful. Great, Scott. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for doing what you are doing. I'm sure appreciation comes in a lot of forms. And I wish through this podcast I share your story and get people to know about your organization.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for taking time out of your day to interview me. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you very much for being on the podcast. In conclusion, veterans are an invaluable part of a society, and but we need to provide comprehensive services and implement preventive measures. So, VWHRC is creating a society that honors their sacrifices and works towards ending veteran homelessness. Thank you for being on this podcast.